Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Back in the day, Vitalik Buterin admitted it. Ripple and XRP are the internet of value, despite how negative he has been over the years. Do you guys remember when he said this?
That's really what Ethereum is. People talk about cryptocurrency 2.0 being like the internet of value. We're not the internet of value. Ripple is the internet of value. We're an arbitrary processor for state transaction functions.
It was a little quick, but I think you guys probably caught that. Ethereum is not the internet of value. XRP and Ripple are in fact the internet of value. An oldie but a goodie. I wanted to just share that for those of you guys who may not have realized that Vitalik Buterin has switched his tune over the years. Of course, there's the ETHgate situation that has probably influenced his opinions somewhat. Tim here on Twitter posting this. Ripple opens a Dubai office and is deciding to relocate for their Swell 2023 event. Well, we know Ripple has a huge connection in the MENA region. Well, they're poised to establish a new office located in the Dubai International Financial Center, a key financial hub, while also relocating its annual customer conference, Swell 2023, from London to Dubai between November 8th and 9th. As Ripple conducts the majority of its business beyond the US, the MENA region holds significant importance for its global operations. Specifically, almost 20% of all RippleNet clients are based in the Middle East, so I didn't even know that it was that much. 20%, guys, is a huge amount. They've onboarded big names such as SAP, Lulu Financial Holdings, Rack Bank, Qatar National Bank, and the Al Ansari Exchange. Additionally, the cross-border payments, including remittances from Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and the UAE to India, make up over half of Ripple's payment volume in the MENA region. And guys, here's a quote from Brad Garlinghouse. We chose Dubai as both a key office for Ripple and to bring Swell Global to the city, in large part due to its forward-thinking regulatory environment. Regulators here have risen to the challenge of establishing a framework that allows the local crypto industry to thrive, create jobs, and increase economic growth while also ensuring participants act in a responsible manner. So looks like Swell 2023 is happening in Dubai. Looks like Ripple is, even if they're not officially moving from the United States, I know they're waiting, same as we are, waiting with bated breath, just kind of wondering what's going to happen with, XRP, Ripple and XRP in the US. This morning I did a video solidifying the opinion that, it could be that if the courts, and I mean, some are critical of this, if the courts have to decide on crypto regulatory clarity, it would definitely not be good for the industry. It would be good for one player and one player only, and that is because Ripple and XRP are before the courts today. If you guys didn't catch that video, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner. So we're seeing this, translate into moves like this. Ripple deciding to pick up, move to the Middle East, and now, even their global Swell event moving from, I guess it was already pre-planned to be in London this year, and now they're moving it to Dubai. All because in Dubai, the MENA region, they already have the clarity, and, people in the crypto industry are wondering, why can't the US just follow suit? Why can't we here in the US just decide this is the way it's going to go? And, it's been working in other jurisdictions. Why can it not work here? And I think maybe half of Congress is shaking their head. Maybe the other half realizes the importance of their banking cartel monopoly, and how it keeps them in power, how it keeps, companies, banks like JP Morgan in power. And, there's the whole issue surrounding ETHgate. Of course, that is a separate thing, but a lot of politics involved, clearly not doing what's right for the country or, what's right for, moving forward technologically in the US. So, a bit of a political hot potato, a huge hot potato, I would say, right now in the United States and in amongst this great reset that we're also experiencing, right? This is not how I thought this would be going down. Nevertheless, I wanted to thank Tim just for letting us know that, this could be a new reality here, seeing Ripple navigate from other countries around the world. Obviously, they do have, offices in multiple countries around the world. So I guess we're going to start to see this kind of thing happen more and more until we get that clarity. So I wanted to thank him for posting that. Also just wanted to thank Ian Binns for that initial Vitalik Buterin clip. Cypress Domanicore posting this. I try to make other content, but Ripple and Stellar are the only ones. If Ripple and XRP turn out to be a massive rug pull, this will be the most well thought out rug pull in history. Now, he posted this video on Twitter, and I will leave this in the description for you guys. I just wanted to touch on some of the highlights because, as you guys know, the central banks and digital currencies did have an event that ended just yesterday, May 10th and 11th, 2023. It was a 2-day symposium, the Global Annual DMI Symposium. This is where central banks were getting together, guys, and it was put on by the OMFIF, okay? The DMI, OMFIF Digital Monetary Institute. This is that same event where the speaker from this morning's video was discussing the fact that regulatory clarity should not happen through the courts. It should happen through the appropriate bodies, and it could be very detrimental, and it could be very negative if in fact courts do decide on matters that they shouldn't be deciding on, like wide sweeping regulatory cryptocurrency clarity. Anyway, again, check that video out if you guys are interested in that. The thing I wanted to bring up here was the importance of this event, and I did bring this up when we were talking about this a month ago before it even happened. Ripple was one of the premium partners, but the other thing I wanted to bring up too was this, and I thought this was interesting, okay? Here it says, this annual event brought together central bank governors and speakers. So this was the first line here that they wanted to highlight, probably the most impressive of their guests. Central bank governors and speakers, including the U.S. Treasury Financial Stability Board, Security and Futures Commission of Hong Kong, AWS, so big corporations too, AWS, that's Amazon, Microsoft, and the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission, attended by 126 central banks. So guys, this is not a small number. 126 central banks and experts from across the digital financial sector. The event pushed the boundaries and discussion on practical and theoretical aspects of digital currencies in the future of capital markets. So on the 10th to 11th, which was just over the last 2 days, the symposium returns to examine the distribution and use cases of both retail and wholesale central bank digital currencies, tokenized assets, deposits, and capital markets, cross-border payments, and domestic interoperability. Let me remind you, 126 central banks, one of the platinum partners was Ripple, guys. They paid the most amount of money to sponsor this event. More than Amazon, all these other guys down here, the gold partners and silver partners. So something to keep in mind. Speakers will explore regulatory framework, harmonization, cybersecurity, yada, yada, yada. This event held in London, convening a global network of key policymakers, regulators, and private and public sector stakeholders. The symposium will include public sessions attended by digital finance experts from across the country, and off-record high-level roundtables to examine critical questions of technology applications, including cybersecurity and digital IDs. So part of that sounds a little nefarious. Digital IDs, not so interested in that. Off-the-record discussions. So guys, these discussions confidential, so the public doesn't know what they're really talking about. But you've got to think, central banks, 126 central banks attended this event. Huge players in the space, central bank governors, speakers, U.S. Treasury Department, the Financial Board, Hong Kong Security and Futures Commission, and then these other big tech companies all working together. Ripple's the platinum partner. And so again, as per Cypress here, what I think is we just need to be patient. They are clearly at the forefront of every single global digital meeting and clearly restructuring our global financial system. These things take massive amounts of time, planning, and proper execution. So guys, there you have it. Another event that just took place. Also happened to see this, Advanced Payment Solutions, Arminotech, and Tempo France from the ecosystem on the Stellar blockchain. So, it's not just XRP that these companies are focusing on. XLM's another big player in the space, and a lot of these analysts that really do forecast huge moves for XRP are also forecasting huge moves for Stellar's XLM. The union of the three ambitious fintech market players will enable them to form an ecosystem based on the Stellar blockchain and successfully fulfill new strategic goals, including unique project bridging, traditional finance, and digital finance. The union came just a few months after Arminotech and Tempo France signed a strategic partnership agreement to jointly promote unique Arminotech solutions powered by the Stellar blockchain in the global payment and remittance market. So more big news, guys, there happening on the Stellar blockchain. I will link this in the description of the video for you if you guys want to read further. But also note this, guys. So it says down here, they shared that the companies that are involved in this will jointly be able to proceed with the introduction of the new euro-nominated stablecoin. So they are even working on a new euro coin. The modern market needs a new and regulated euro stablecoin more than ever, and we look forward to starting the project. He said that the burgeoning financial system will successfully cope with that task, and that according to the internal estimates, the euro-nominated stablecoin market potentially currently exceeds 80 billion euros. So the three companies believe that their unification and the trailblazing projects undertaken by the trio will enable them to fulfill yet another important goal: to attract investors to the growing digital finance industry. But euro-nominated stablecoin, again, these are going to be regional coins that millions, tens of millions of people are going to be using every single day. And you guys can see Stellar, they're going to be using the Stellar blockchain. That is the remittance provider that is working on this particular projects. So, don't count out Stellar either. Huge news for Ripple, obviously, but also very, very big news for Stellar. Wanted to thank Cypress Demand Core here just for posting that. We're also seeing more organizations, a digital currency conference here happening in Mexico City, guys. This is happening next week. So we're seeing a lot of this, XRP and XLM being represented respectively. Ripple here, located here, Stellar Development Foundation. So these are just some, again, of the participating organizations that we're noticing attending some of these high-profile events. So guys, how big is this going to be? We know the Bank for International Settlements is the bank for central banks. So they clearly probably know what these off-the-record meetings are about. The central banks for digital currencies. We know 126 central banks attended this. There were off-the-record high-level roundtables. And if you've been following what the BIS has been doing, you probably already know some of this. Anders here posted this, okay, with regards to the BIS Innovation Hub Nordic Center, okay? He talks a little bit about Project Polaris, confirmed Ripple involvement in that project, and we're going to get back to Project Polaris in a second. There was also Project Icebreaker that we talked about. It was revealed about a month ago. A lot of people suspect there is Ripple involvement in that. And then there's Project Aurora. So he's just posting this with regards to the innovation hub with the Nordic Center in Stockholm, Sweden, listing off some of these things: Project Polaris, Project Icebreaker, and Project Aurora. But guys, guess who's connected to the head of BIS Innovation Hub? This person here, Cecilia Skinsley, a Swedish banker, economist, and journalist. She is the current head of the BIS Innovation Hub at the Bank for International Settlements. Now, if we move down here, we can see there is something here that was brought to us by Danny Darko here. Project Icebreaker moving in tandem. To facilitate easy cross-border payment initiation, a common address standard would be helpful, as would one or several alias databases. The W3C, Decentralized Identifiers, or the DID, could be useful for addressing and could be an area of further work. Now, if we look over here, what is this W3C DID standard? Emi Yoshikawa posted this in Japanese. It was translated here in this tweet. The Decentralized ID, or the XLS 40D standard on the XRPL, currently proposed to the XRPL community, is DID as a native feature of the protocol layer, compliant with this specific standard. So the same standard, guys, here located in this BIS working paper for Project Icebreaker. Again, we know Emi Yoshikawa is a representative for Ripple in Japan, so that is a huge piece of news there. But just back over here, getting back to Cecilia Skingsley, appointed to the BIS Innovation Hub. She was originally from Riksbank, who also pioneered the e-krona. So one of the very first attempts at a central bank digital currency. Check out Riksbank XRP description below. And guys, they also reference XLM. So we can see that here, another screen grab from the BIS, Cecilia Skingsley. And even in the paper here, they mention Ripple as a for-profit entity that has revolutionized this environment by working with mainstream large financial institutions. They mention XRP here as well. They talk about its interledger. Its primary function is interbank transfers using a decentralized trust system on a permissioned ledger. Well, we know there's the capability of the private ledger versus the public ledger. So Riksbank definitely does have a connection to Ripple as well. Also this, okay, real-time retail payment platform operated by PayNet. Another interesting connection here, as you guys can see. Ripple are among these clientele here. They're highlighting PayNow from Singapore and PromptPay from Thailand. But down here, you guys can see PayNet is also connected. According to the country's central payment network, PayNet, its real-time payment platform, Do It Now, has processed over 2 billion transactions in the last 3 years, representing a growth of more than 800%. So loosely connected through these ties, but Cecilia Skingsley, I think, is the biggest one. Riksbank, we already do know, has a partnership with Ripple, and she is part of the BIS Innovation Hub. Obviously, the BIS, the Bank for Central Banks, 126 central banks were in fact at this event, at this most recent event, where the platinum sponsor was Ripple. But guys, that's not it. Ripple was acknowledged in the BIS CBDC Polaris trials in May 2023. So this happened within the last week or so, a couple of weeks. The Bank for International Settlements did also come out and post this. How can CBDCs work offline when users aren't connected to the internet, either temporarily or because of coverage limitations? A new handbook published by the BIS Innovation Hub as part of a project called Project Polaris explores these key considerations. This was just posted yesterday, guys, May the 11th, 2023. So looking into Project Polaris, and I got to give credit to Matthew L.A.N.Y. for this find. Huge find here. Project Polaris, secure and resilient CBDC systems, offline and online. So they're looking for a way to be able to make transfers offline and online of central bank digital currencies, so we do not have to rely on, I guess, the electricity aspect of it. So that certainly does harken back to this article that I covered, guys, back at the end of 2020. 2021, XRP ledger transactions can now be initiated offline. So I will link this in the description. I'm not going to go over it, but it had to do, I mean, if you guys are interested in the tech side of it, it does, if you follow XRPL Labs, they do explain that a little more. But it's XPaw, Proof of Payments, as presented by Richard at the Apex Dev Summit from back in October of 2021. You guys can read the details here, but the XRP ledger, the point that I wanted to really focus on here, XRPL transactions can now be initiated offline. We have Project Polaris coming up, talking specifically about secure and resilient CBDC systems offline and online. Ripple is in fact acknowledged in this paper. I believe that they are, they're mentioned here. One of the people involved is Anthony Ralphs, Director of Project Management of CBDCs at Ripple, and also Anthony Welfare, Senior Advisor of CBDCs and Global Partnerships at Ripple. So you can see there is already a Ripple connection, guys. But what I thought was interesting, and I'm sure you guys will find it too, Chad Steengraber here posting this, Polaris equals Loadstar. So if you've been following Bearableguy for all these years, you probably remember this riddle here. Brad Garlinghouse going to the moon the night, shooting to the moon, passing what looks like could be the Loadstar from all those Bearableguy riddles from Christmas past. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about here, you can find them. I will link Bearableguy's Twitter handle in the description of the video. Loadstar 1, 2, and 3, giving us a clearer picture at that time on where he saw the entire plan going. Now, just to kind of add to this, I want to give you guys a description of what this Loadstar means. A star that is used to guide the course of a ship, especially the pole star. So that would certainly line up with this Bearableguy riddle from Christmas 2021. Was it 21 or 22? But then, guys, it gets better. Polaris, if you look that up, again, Project Polaris, as we're seeing with the BIS, the online-offline systems that the XRP ledger can handle. It says here Polaris is the star in the northern circumpolar constellation of Ursa Minor. It is designated Ursae Minoris and is commonly called the North Star or Pole. So a guiding star, guys, the North Star or Pole. The Loadstar is also the guiding star, especially the Pole Star. So is there a connection here that Bearableguy had been pointing to for a couple of years now? How much did he know about Project Polaris? What has been in the works all this time? And are we ever going to find out what has come from these off-the-record high-level roundtables from this event that just occurred a couple of days ago? More discoveries just create more questions. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.